Hello, everyone. I am live. I am live. Yes, I am. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? I'm fine. I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Had a pretty nice, eventful weekend. Lots of stuff going on. Hello, hello. So today's gonna be a little chill. Well, most coding streams are kind of chill. And that's what we're gonna be doing. Have to test all the nonsense I was working on wherever it was. I don't even think I have the file open. I should. This stuff here, basically. I need to test and make sure that that's working. And then that was it. There was a couple other things I want to look into, um, like while I'm here. One of the things related to Spartan weaponry, and then another related to setting up or the way JEI interacts with stuff. I believe I don't have JEI like included in my dependencies here, but like it is present, I believe. No, that's Huela. Does this not have JEI? No, don't run the J unit, dude. That's not what I want to do. Yeah, I know it works. We established this yesterday. This. Okay, so hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Shouldn't I put this like here? Yeah, that seems to make sense. Now, I'm not sure if the audio for this is gonna work, because I think I had this set up the same way the other audio was set up for like the continuum streams, so this might not have perfectly functioning audio, but then again, that's not really important. And yes, it is the commander of ducks. Look at you all. You're all here. Lots of people in chat. Beautiful. Let's see. Let's see the audio not work. Oh wait, did that work? Do we have functioning audio? We have functioning this is impressive. Okay, well that's cool. Um so what do I want to check? Oh, I need to check stuff from the config and also check to see if I have JEI here, which I do not. Good. Good, good. But more importantly, in the damage thing, I can now set this. This is basically what I did. So I added these config options, and this is the whole description of what they all do. So the default item distribution, if I set this to bypass, for example, and I'll set you to normal, just for argument's sake, we can at least check that, see if that works. It should. That's the problem, though. It's always, it should. And never, it do. Oh, dude, this works. It is stark black text, which, you know, is something. And perhaps not what we in the business would call ideal, because I can't read this dark text. But that's okay. And then this should be... Wait, I set something to... I set the default project... Oh, wait. Yeah, no, that makes sense. This doesn't use the default projectile distribution because this is actually in the config. Under projectile damage types. It's actually here. So it's going to exist. I need to find... I need to... Like, I'll probably remove the spectral arrow from the config. I will need to restart Minecraft before those changes work. Oh, and I need to do this for an armor piece as well to make sure that the armor piece works. Resistance, default armor distribution. Okay, so this we're just gonna go ahead and remove. And then armor resistances, I can remove, like, this. No, let's do the diamond chestplate. Okay, so that's that. And, I can make sure that those resistances work. I'll need to check default mob damage. Something should... Is there something that isn't configured for mob damage here? Mob base damage. Do. Oh, and then this is a whole bunch of stuff from Like Knights, right? Wait, is there a... There is no... Iron Golem. Oh my gosh, I was stuck on that forever. There's no Iron Golem here, so the Iron Golem should actually inherit the distribution. Not this fellow, because this fellow was created before all of that, so he's probably... He actually has a distribution assigned to him, and that's bludgeoning damage. I think if I create a new one... I'm constantly going here. And... Let's set you to normal. Let's set you to normal. Because that will update in real time. Now he... Oh wait, it does work for him, because he doesn't have a distribution. Interesting. That does work. So, like, you are going to... Whoa. 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 Dude. Dude. What died? Why did stuff die here randomly? Whatever. Okay, so it actually is showing the mob damage that they have. Which is bludgeoning and necrotic. Which should be correct. I'm gonna just cross-reference that to make sure that that's going correctly. Zombie is bludgeoning and necrotic. Okay, so that's working. And more importantly, you do normal damage. Which means their resistance doesn't do anything. Though the Iron Golem might die first. Yeah. Don't worry about those script errors. That's something else. So that works compared to having 25% bludgeoning resistance. I don't know how much damage you do. I also need to heal you. That would be nice. Can you even be healed like this? Yes, you can. Okay. Good. Now, if you have bludgeoning resistance... Oh, I can actually... I know what I can do here to make sure that it actually works. If I set it to bludgeoning, you go back to bludgeoning damage. Wonderful. And now let's grab a mob that is immune to bludgeoning damage. Like you. Wait, do you attack slimes? Or is that only in newer versions? It's only in newer versions, right? Oh, no, you do. Aha, you can't do anything to these guys. Oh, it worked. And now... Didn't iron blocks heal them extensively? I feel like that's only in the newer versions. Because they don't crack in this version. I think that was only in Village and Pillage. Because, like, they don't have, like, a crack texture effect. Only new versions. Yeah. One 1.14. Yeah. I feel like it is, in fact, Village and Pillage only. Now, if I set this to normal... I can set it to normal or bypass, it won't matter. But if I set it to normal, now these slimes will perish. This is awesome. He doesn't care. These slimes are his fanboys now. And more importantly, since the mob egg does unknown damage and not bludgeoning damage, their immunities don't mean anything. And same with these guys. It will just... So, this guy will take 21 strikes to kill because they have inherent armor, which will still work. Oh wait, is it actually? Okay, 22. That's still correct. I don't know why. It is, playing, like, showing weakness particles. It's not for you, but whoops. Sorry, bro. That was your wall. My apologies. And this should still be the same. Now, why do you do that, my friend? Now, okay, there's definitely some things. There's some things. Okay? There's some things that I definitely need to fix and stop from working. Like, you know, I'm just gonna actually just no, I have to specifically go in and okay. So that fixes that. Although it won't work until I run it again. So that's something I need to look into. Why you do? This is 1.12. This is 1.12. And I think would really help you with testing. It allows changing attributes of mobs on demand, exporting their MDT, making mobs fight with whatever you select. It's called Mapmaker's Gadgets. Interesting. Interesting. I'm certainly gonna have to look into that. That might be helpful. Okay, so one thing I definitely do need to check here is so I had to comment out this, which is fine, that's whatever. Where do we determine particles? Where's the it's over here. Okay, there is this. That's thing. But what there was no weakness hit. I'll need to look into that. Damage calculation. Combat tracker. There we go. Compute if present. M is the damage map. And then if it's present, K is the mob defenses, that resistance is stuff for each. That makes no sense, dude. It shouldn't be hitting that, though we gonna find out. Okay, we gonna find out why it doing that. So now, if I hit this guy, hold on, I actually need to move this a little bit over here. It's gonna look a little weird because I'm now no longer maximized, but I need this over here so I don't have to worry about it. So I hit the dude. Everything time stops. Now I switch back over here, and I can see what's going on. So, the defenses have slashing, necrotic, radiant, fire, thunder. Oh, the defenses have everything, right? Whoops. Up defenses. Resist map. New resist map. That should have everything. That shouldn't have anything. Well then how do we... New defenses classifier. Resists. Get all resistances. This is a resist map. Oh, I see. It should be fine unless that causes a problem. Well, let's see what's going on here. So if I step through, this is for each. I need to actually step into. And then I need to go back to here. Step into, I need to go to action.accept. And now now we're in here. This will be, the resist is 0. I don't know, what's our, okay, this is arcane. This is just a custom damage type. And we didn't go there, okay, good. I should add a breakpoint here. Because now we're here. Okay, perfect. This is normal. Okay, good. This is slashing. Okay, good. So it's necrotic. What are you? You're radiant. Wait a second. But M, why does M have radiant in it? Oh, that's because I have a radiant damage buff potion. Oh. But wait a second. If it's not null, it also needs to be non-zero. Well, the damage here needs to be non-zero. Here, if the damage inflicted here is 0, that's fine, because that means the damage could have been reduced to 0, which is acceptable. But here, it only counts as a weakness if I'm actually inflicting damage. It should. This can count as a resistance if I inflict no damage, because the resistance can turn the damage into nothing. But if I am inflicting 0 damage, and we're talking a weakness here, then it really shouldn't count as... I shouldn't spawn weakness particles if it's not actually a weakness. Or like if I'm not actually doing anything. This needs to be m dot get which should exist because I did compute if present not equal to null. So this should just always work. And I need to get it for this particular type, which would be K. And if that's strictly greater than 0, if I'm actually inflicting damage, then if the resistance that I'm inflicting damage with is less than 0, then it counts as a weakness. This makes sense. If the value for the specified key is present and non-null, it tends to compute a new mapping given the key and current mapped value. If the function returns null, the mapping is removed. If the function itself throws an unchecked exception, the exception is rethrown. What do you return? The new value associated with the specified key, or null if none. Yeah, this makes sense. Don't worry, this is fine. Now K is radiant now. And then it doesn't do that. And it doesn't do that. Good. I don't need these anymore. Okay, so now I can swap back. Oops. Whoa. Alright, good. Good. Now it actually works. Now, okay, so that's that part remedied, which is nice. I still need to remedy... But more importantly, this, which does do radiant damage, should still count as weakness. Yes, it does. That does a lot of damage. It's disgusting. Okay, okay. That's that. I fixed that part. Everything else seems to be correct. I just need to relaunch and then double check the other stuff. I think so. I think that's it. I think that's all I need to do. So let's I think relaunch the game. Oop. Okay, so everything else looks good. Oh wait, and I need JEI. I knew I was missing something. So I need to look into that. JI for 1.12.2. I guess I'll take the most recent one. I don't think it matters. I'll take the release version. Let's do that. Download it. I need to download it manually because I need to specifically download it into that is not the right folder. The right folder will be over here, in here, in here, and in here. Yeah, you done? You're done. Okay, good. So now I can switch back to this view. Now I've got JEI. Good stuff. Now I can check to make sure that I can look into that at the same time. So I removed the thing for spectral arrows. I removed the thing for diamond chestplate, so I can check those, and I removed the thing for shields, so I can check shields. Make sure that they all work as intended. And yeah, I think that's it. Just test that, and then if all that works, which so far everything is working fantastically, so want to test the gadgets mod now, or would you rather not add variables to your workspace? I can test it now. Um, I'll test it after I make sure that the things that I just added kind of work, and then for sure I'll add it to the thing and I'll take a look at it because that might be helpful. Um, because I was expecting, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like test the stuff, but like I don't like testing things because it like never works ever. But surprisingly, everything's working well. It's working as intended. But then again, I guess this wasn't really a complex thing, so that's good. Which means that this is going much faster than I had expected. I was expecting to like try and test it, punch a zombie, game just explodes. That doesn't always happen, but that's always what my level of expectations are. And so if that's gonna work, then I'll have extra time. So yeah, good job. Is good job. So let's see if this works, and then we'll take a look at Map Maker's jacket. It got their gadgets. Okay, and most importantly, I don't get the null pointer exception when I punch things now because I Minecraft, please. Oh, now I understand why Minecraft stopped for a second. I'm fucking check JEA. Okay, but JEA does recognize all the damage types and everything correctly, which is actually not new knowledge. I've been new that it worked like that. But now if I do acid, damage distribution. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. But yeah, we've been new about this. But this says acid. Is there another reason why this shows up? I mean, the slime shows up when I type acid. Even when I type it lowercase like that. Let's check with, oh, here's something. If I type lightning, redstone should show up because redstone inflicts lightning damage. It does. Wait, so everything just works. I guess you have to have this. Wait, that doesn't make sense. So if I do this, yep. I have no idea. But this works. I don't know what they're like. Someone in the Discord. I don't know if that person. Excuse me. I don't know if that person is here watching this. Um, but it does work. Searching in JEI. I don't know what to say. Uh, Now outside of that, I need to test the armor. Right. So this doesn't show armor effectiveness because it doesn't actually have armor effectiveness. Or sorry, it doesn't actually have an armor distribution. Which is sort of a thing that maybe I need to look into. And the shield probably won't show its shield distribution either. It doesn't. Because it doesn't have one defined. However, it should work. Oops. Oh, wait, no, that's because I have them set as no effectiveness. Okay. Now, idea, set them to set the armor to all effectiveness. See what happens there. It still doesn't show up. I should do this for the shield, actually. Because the shield is easier to check to see if it works. Now, I can just, I will spawn you in here for now. I have this to check game mode, right? No, that's just from vulnerability. Oh, but I can not sync game mode there. Isn't it Control F4 or something? Or, no, I think that was new versions as well. Oh, whatever. Why are you hurting yourself, dude? Oh no, he was. Make this mod play with a few mods with their own electric damage. As lightning arrows, lightning dragon from the fork of ice and fire, and so Electroblob's wizardry allegedly made some change somewhere specifically to work with DDD. It was incredible because I had no idea how the mod author even knew of this mod's existence. But you can talk to what's his name? The author of Rebirth of the Night BPG, because the person who authors BPG edition of Rebirth of the Night. Yeah, Heaveness, there we go. Because he told me about that. That's how I learned about it. Through him. Them. They told me, I was like, whoa, this is cool. I went and checked the release notes, and like, yeah, DDD is sort of mentioned by name in the release notes. So technically, yeah, it can work. And now with the new Zen script features that DDD has, it should be definitely possible to set it up so that the elemental damage inflicts the correct elemental damage. You will probably need to set it up all throughout, like, with a whole bunch of Zen script stuff, and setting up custom distributions and stuff like that. But it should 100% be doable now. Because I heard about the wizardry changes back when DDD was still using JSON for custom damage types and setting up things like that. But now it should work. Because the damage source that EB Wizardry uses now kind of somewhat encodes the spell or something like that. So, should be possible. If it's not, then I can look into things I need to do. Oh, now I know why that zombie was taking damage, because of Vengeful? Yeah, I think Vengeful gave them a potion effect and hurt them. That's interesting. That they still get... That still procs. So now this should... So normally, I touch you. I need to turn this off. Touch you. I get 3 damage. Right? Lovely. Put this on. Let's reset my health, basically. I still take 3 damage. Hold on. It is set to all effectiveness. That's that. Armor bonuses that the enemy gets for that attack, as well as the armor distributions, along with current damage. Okay, yeah, show that. Wait, why did I get... Why my armor no help? It should totally help. I know it sound like kill person asking for random features when there are a million things on the to-do list, but I genuinely believe great if certain mods added a level of visual compatibility. Adds the electric effect, which deals quick 0 damage attacks while showing particle. Not just DDD attacks classified as such dealt the same effect with that installed. While showing particles. I mean... Oh, so like DDD attacks classified as electric damage did the same thing? Because that's technically possible with Zen script. If I so it's a potion effect fundamentally. Electric damage feels electrifying because the zero damage attacks inflict minimal knockback. Yeah, okay. I see. I see. I get you. Okay. This is where I have a bunch of Zen script examples. But there are events that you can fundamentally subscribe to in ZenScript and then capitalize off of that. And like it's events added through DDD that allows you to interact with DDD's damage system, which allows you to do a whole bunch of stuff exactly like this. Um, what you could do, I think it might be best to. Why is this not correct? Oh, do I need to change this to be? Hold up, hold up. This is. Oh, it's. I see. I forgot to change this here. Update adaptive resistance. Event. I know I don't have. I have the wiki open. I'm gonna check what I want to do here. I think technically you probably want to do this event. So what I can do here is I can yes, potion effect called Better with Add-ons Electrified. Oh yeah. So check this out. This is how I can set this up. mods.ddd.events.ddd events dot on update adaptive resistances. So there's a bunch of events that you can subscribe to or add event handlers for that are DDD events. And they are fired during DDD's damage calculations to allow you to interact with it in a certain way. There's a determine damage event, gather defenses event, shield block event, and update adaptive resistance event. So the you can listen to any of those. I'm going to listen to the update adaptive resistance event because this is fired at the end of the calculation every single time to determine whether or not DDD should make that mob update their adaptive resistances, whether they have adaptive resistances or not. So I can use this event to allow a mob to update their adaptive resistances even if they aren't adaptive. I can have them not update their adaptive resistance even if they would normally, or I can just leave it as a default. Now, the reason I'm subscribing to this event in particular is because this event is fired last, which is basically at the end of the calculation. Which means all the damage that you can check here is the damage that was actually inflicted. Um so what you could technically do this on perhaps a determined damage event, but maybe if something reduces that lightning damage you take to 0, you don't want to apply the potion effect. And if something else comes into play and reduces that to 0, you might not necessarily know on a determined damage event, because the determined damage event is while DDD is kind of gathering that information. But if you want it to apply at the end, after everything's said and done, you can use the update adaptive resistance event. It's really kind of up to you, really, depending on exactly how you want to behave. But I can do as mods dot basically just this. And then if I can do event dot get damage, put in whatever damage type you want. DDD type. Like if you define a custom electric damage, like let's say you define a custom electric damage. This is a custom damage type you define specifically to allow certain things that inflict this electric type damage to inflict said potion effect. Right? And this damage type only exists so that you know which items should inflict this potion effect or whatever. Or maybe you want to go more general and use DDD's built-in lightning damage. Your choice. But if it's greater than 0, then that means that the we inflicted lightning damage. And more importantly, like that lightning damage was actually taken. And maybe we also want to check, just if you want, if event dot has immunity DDD type lightning. Maybe if they're immune to lightning damage, they don't get the effect. Perhaps. Whatever, right? Then I need to get the mob, and the calculation event extends the DDD event, which extends the entity event. So what I can do is I can do event.defender. This is the mob that's taking the damage. Dot what's the thing? Entity living base. What's the thing? Add potion effect. Add potion effect. I need to. This is. I think the potion bracket handler is, yeah, it's like this. Potion better with add-ons. Electrified dot. And I need to turn it into a potion effect. Make potion effect, yep. And then you set the duration, you set the amplifier. Like, whatever. Maybe it's for 1.5 seconds and it's at level 0 or whatever. Who cares, right? Like that. And there you go. Now, whenever lightning damage is inflicted, and they're not immune to lightning damage, you don't need to add this clause. I'm just showing ways that you could potentially extend the system to meet more of your specific needs. You just add this potion effect. Boom. There you go. And that'll work. You can do the same thing with poison damage and add a poison potion effect too, if you wanted. And DDD, I have finally on the wiki on GitHub documented all the events that are exposed to Craft Tweaker, what fields they have, like their Zen getters, their Zen methods. I do want to add another page covering a couple examples, but that page currently doesn't exist yet. However, this is totally stuff you can do. This sandbox file anywhere? Oh, this little thing of scripts. This little thing of scripts currently doesn't exist anywhere. But I will probably again I intend to make a wiki page covering examples, and I will probably put this example there and this example there. Um, Along with a couple of other examples, and I'll showcase a couple of other interesting examples. And Shadows Player, hello. Yeah, so the problem with JEI, I if you hadn't showed up on stream, I was gonna clip it and show you. I don't have the problem that you have. It's it's weird. Let me show. So let's say I type lightning. This shows up because it inflicts lightning damage. Now, you wouldn't expect redstone to show up when I search lightning under any other conditions, because the word lightning does not appear anywhere. But here it is. And acid shows up just fine. This thing has an acid immunity, so it's there. I'm physically pointing at the word acid on my screen. Like you can somehow see that. My apologies. What version do you use? So this is my development environment. This is the latest version. But I hadn't added anything particular with this, but I guess double check and make sure you're using the latest version. Oh, what version of JEI am I using? I am using that might be relevant. The version that I downloaded and I'm using now is the latest 1.12.2 release. 4.16.1, here, I'm going to type it here. 4.16.1.301. This version. For 1.12.2. It is the most common, it's the latest 1.12.2 full release, not the betas. I downloaded the latest release of JEI. Oh, because I have a mod. Oh, because I have Firetech, I had to use Forge instead of that version. Maybe it's an error with a new version of JEI. Oh. You have to use JEI 1.19.2? You're using a 1.19.2 version of JEI on 1.12.2? How is that even possible? Oh, okay, okay. 1.12.2, 4.16.1.1012. Oh, you're using the latest one. Okay. That's interesting. So that's definitely something with JEI. Now it is entirely possible that I add some kind of, compatibility, but I wouldn't know exactly how, because, it's working on this version of JEI, but doesn't clearly work on the recent version of JEI, so what does the recent version of JEI fix? Or what does it do? Oh my gosh, there's a massive changelog. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, try an older one. And see how that works. And what I definitely need to do is, first and foremost, while this is great and everything, please, I don't want to hear this zombie constantly groaning. From what I understand, maybe it's the advanced searching. Maybe. I tried I used whatever the default config values were for JEI, just kind of like hopped into the world and just searched acid, didn't change any of the configurations with JEI, and it just like worked out of the box. Maybe they changed the form of searching the new versions. Maybe they did. They very well might have. Okay, so I have this. This has all effectiveness. This should work. Okay, so it definitely hit that point. Um, Now let's see. What happened? The armor is a diamond chestplate. Yep. Now, we get the armor resistances. This should return this. We hope. Well, yes, it should. Armor distribution. Oh, this is returning. This actually returned an entire empty armor distribution. Why do you have an empty armor distribution? Interesting. Interesting. That is fascinating. I don't know why that's working like that. I need to. No, because it's getting a find caps like a type. I get Why do you have the capability? Because the shield worked. Just fundamentally interesting. Actually, wait. Hold on. Where's the other thing? This thing. Turn off that. Wait, what? Oh, wait. Oh, if it has a shield distribution capability. It has capability. I want to change that. Okay. I need to change this to not get shield like that has capability, but instead I need to change this to use just get the capability, and if it's present. Well, that's probably my problem. Oh wait, no, but that's default to true. That's fine. I need to change the wording for that. But let's go change the wording for that. Config compat here. Okay, that's that fixed. Now I need to change this to tdd api.accessor get shield distribution this dot context dot get shield. Oh, I see. It's a context dot get shield dot map. There we go. So now I don't even need that. If it's present, fire a shield block event. The shield block event get shield distribution. Yeah, if it's present, then I can get it. That's fine. That's not. I don't like the way that works. Is there a way where I don't actually have to get this shield distribution and do all that check? I mean, not really. I need a flat map this for starters. There's gotta be a better way to do that. It looks not the greatest. Get the context shield. Try and, like, get its shield distribution if it's present. And then that's just gonna be got again. Well, it's gonna have a shield distribution if and only if modconfig dot compat dot defined items only. So this needs to be true. This needs to be true. And it either has this set to true, or now we can short circuit this dot context dot get shield dot get dot has capability shield distribution dot cap and null. There you go. Now I'm not getting the shield distribution multiple times, which is good. Because if this is true, then I don't need to evaluate this. Because then, if this is true, then it will use the default shield thing. That fixes that. And now for the armor thing. It had nothing about this and everything about this. This needs to change. Does this need to change? Oh, yeah, because getting the armor resistances, it actually returned something, which is weird. Oh, but this dot caps dot get type. This returns a multi-map. This returns a collection of capabilities. We stream it, we're gonna filter and stream only the capabilities that it has. And get the first one and actually get that capability. Or we get the fallback capability. The weird thing is that normal items work clearly. So this code is fine, but doesn't work for. What's the fallback? Oh, so the fallback is returning something. That doesn't make sense, dude. No. Oh no, I want /CT NBT. No NBT data. Yeah, it doesn't have any NBT data. But it should have. It should have no capabilities on it. Interesting. There's other CT commands, right? What is Jason? Literally just a Jason structure. Doesn't do anything. Lovely. Okay, well then, I need to, figure that out. Because this should have, no capability, but it does. Unless there's something else going on here that I'm not aware of. Our resistances. Yeah, no, the diamond chestplate isn't here. And the shield isn't here. Yeah, this isn't gonna change anything. Interesting. I really don't know what's going on here. Because this should be working. Because it works for the item. Unless I change the way this works. If I change the way this works, then, I have to make sure that works correctly. Whoa. Dude. What are you doing? What are you finding the caps for, dude? You don't need to. We're good. Oh, that's for the tooltip thing. That's right. And now turn this back on. Nah, but don't do that. Alright, alright, alright. Not there then. There we go. And now I turn this one on. Now we go to here. And now the type is item. This is the diamond chestplate. The capability is the armor distribution, and the fallback is that. Okay. This is F5, right? Yeah, it is F5. Get returned to multimap with an armor distribution, damage distribution. Get returns a map. And then we stream it. Has capability. Has capability returns false. Find first returns an empty optional. We map it to another empty optional, because there's nothing to get there, because it's already empty. Or else get, and we're going to do a get on this. If thing is null, which it's not, because we're doing thing is the thing we're getting the capability from. Turn optional of nullable, so thing.get capability. It shouldn't have this capability. And now get capability returned the armor distribution. Why? It said you didn't have the armor distribution. It's actually returned something. when it's not supposed to. Okay. So now it's gonna please. What are we getting? And what's the stack? Bedrock. Oh, because I'm looking at the bedrock. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I know I don't have the game up, but I need to look into this. So then this should, let's see why this works. Let's get, let's stream, filter, find first, find first, return to optional.empty, which is exactly what it needs to do. And then I map, which maps to optional.empty. And then I do an or else get, which is going to take me into here. I'm going to do this. If this is empty, if this or this dot capabilities is null, return null. Otherwise, this dot capability dot get capability. Okay, so then this should end up also returning null. Get capability return null. It did. Why did it return null? Oh, goodness, Eclipse, please. I just need to go here. This dot capabilities equals null, return null, otherwise get the actual capability. It didn't even run that. It just has a null capability. It just, the capabilities were null. That's a fallback. It's almost like I don't need that fallback, but I do need that fallback. I don't need the fallback if that is set. Oh my goodness, how do I want to do this? This is clearly not working. I need to change the way this works slightly. Or there's something else that's not working. We have that set up still. Should assign defaults. This dot create capability. Config dot get default value. Wait a second. Ha ha. Look at that. I need to negate that. I hate this immensely. But I figured it out. Yeah, we need to negate it. Because that's if I should assign it a default capability versus not. So it was actually designed? It was actually assigned a default capability. Okay, so that fixes that. That was a nightmare. Now, go to my breakpoints. I don't need this, 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 or this. That was hard on the ears. Okay. So, one thing I did want to show off here, now that I got into this rabbit hole, I wanted to show off a couple scripts of like really cool things that you could do with DDD and stuff. So one of the cool scripts I wanted to show off, it is very much like a huge kind of example, kind of you could argue whether or not it's the most like practical example, but it does showcase the kind of specificity you can have here. So what I have here is a neat example of using DDD's distribution builder, which is a Zen class that DDD adds to Zen script that allows you to define your own distributions and more importantly, defined the context in which that distribution applies. So, here I'm creating a distribution builder for something I'm calling lightning arrow. This is just the internal name. Again, this is all documented on the wiki on the GitHub. And I'm giving it a weight of 1 for lightning damage. So it's 100% lightning damage. And then you have to define something called a context function, which is a function that returns true or false on whether or not the context for this lightning distribution that I've just created is applicable. So I want to create, what I want is if it's raining, or no, sorry, if it's a thunderstorm or a lightning storm, and a skeleton is shooting you with an arrow, and they are in water or in the rain, and you are in water or in the rain, then you take lightning damage. They basically channel, like the quote idea is that they could channel the lightning through their arrow from the lightning storm, provided that both them and whatever they're shooting are soaked in water, i.e., from the rain, or they're just standing in water. Then, so how do you even set something like that up? The way I set something like that up is I need to check to make sure it's a surface world, not something like the Nether. Um, the reason why I check for something like this instead of just checking the dimension number, is because maybe it rains in other dimensions, and maybe I want this to apply in other dimensions, but it needs to be on a surface world dimension, just for example. And now I check to see if it's thundering. Now, if neither of these conditions are true, then, you know, the context is false. It needs to be a surface world, and it needs to be thundering. If either of those conditions are not met, we will return false. Now I need to check to make sure that the damage source is caused by a projectile, because I'll have this distribution as one of the arguments to the function. The damage source for what was like the current damage source that caused the damage, and the target, the entity being hit. So I need to check if it's not a projectile, or if it's not a skeleton. This is kind of a weird way to check. This check does work, but there's better ways to write this check. But this is basically just check to make sure it's a skeleton. If neither of those are true, then I'm returning false. And now they both have to be wet from the rain, or be in water or whatever. And then it'll return true. And in specifically that context, where all of these blocks don't kick me out, then I want it to count as whatever this distribution is, which is lightning damage. And then I just need to call a dis.build at the end to let the content tweaker script know that I've finished setting this up and I'm ready to build it and register it. Now, unlike trait builders from like Conarm and Tinkers, you can't reuse distribution builders to like make multiple distributions and contexts and stuff like that. Just the way it's coded, it doesn't work the same way. What that translates to is here. So there's a little bone fellow over here, and what does this do? Oh, that sets it to clear weather. Oh, okay. So now, it will, eventually, should. I think it does, I think it is still counting as, it is counting as currently thundering. I hope. But, more importantly, this skeleton, um, is in water. And I am in water. And now he should shoot me. And it counts as lightning damage. You can see it in the bottom left. It's saying that it's counting as lightning damage. Even though he's just shooting regular arrows at me. And more importantly, if I get out of the water, now it's piercing damage. Because both of us are not wet. So this is the kind of stuff you can do with DDD and ZenScript. You can set up pretty interesting things. So I'm gonna have this guy go away. That's a pretty neat little thing you can do. It's like sky's the limit, right? So long as you can define the context where it should apply, you can have DDD apply that distribution to that context. I have another silly example that I can show. This example is also actually like very nonsensical, but for the purposes of just kind of showing what we have, this. I create a distribution I'm going to call example, and I set its you can set its priority. Now the priority determines higher priority distributions will be checked before other ones. So you can have low priority catch-all distributions that will kind of just catch generic context and then specify more specific ones that are checked first, kind of thing, which is nice. And then I'm setting this to use force damage. Now this example is on this example in particular is on the wiki page for the distribution builder. This exact one. But it has comments. Now I'm setting force, psychic, and this custom example type. Now when you use custom damage types in content tweaker scripts only, you have to specify them as a string and not using the bracket handler. Because when the content tweaker script runs, these custom damage types aren't actually created and registered yet. Because these custom damage types can be created through ZenScript. So it might not exist at this point. And because of that, you have to specify custom types like this. Now you can specify built-in types like this too. Like I can have this be force. Whoa, not like that. I can have this be force like this, and this works as well. Both versions work because force is a built-in type, but only the string version works. This description that I'm saying right now is also extensively mentioned on the wiki as well. So I can set the weight. Now again, the weight does have to add to 1, and this does. 0.25 plus 0.25 plus 0.5. So we're good there. And then I define the isContext applicable function, and I want to check to make sure that we are in the nether. So if we're not in the nether, we return false. I want to check to see if our damage is caused by a cactus. And if the damage is caused by a cactus, we return true. So being pricked by a cactus in the nether inflicts this damage. It's distributed like this. But being pricked by a cactus in the overworld is just regular piercing. Because this takes priority over the extra distribution, wherever that is. this. This thing here takes priority over the built-in cactus distribution because it always checks for the custom stuff first. And if it finds one, it uses it. It doesn't check the rest of them. It uses the first valid one it finds, which is why this priority system is important, to make sure that this distribution is checked before other custom distributions. Now, the built-in piercing from, like, not this, the cactus, I don't think this, does this define a priority? Surely this defines a priority. Yes, it does. So the other distributions, the extra distributions and all that other stuff for like caused by like cactus and stuff, those do use the same priority system, but they are set to priority 0 with some exceptions. But most of them are set to priority 0. I think the ones that aren't are, yeah, this. Like parrots being poisoned by a cookie. That has a slightly higher priority. And then I think this might have a higher priority. No, this one doesn't. Does the explosion have a higher priority? It also doesn't. Most of these don't. Now, the stuff defined in JSON as well also don't have higher priority. But this is a higher priority. And that's because this built-in fire distribution checks just if the source is fire damage. And if the source is fire damage, then count it as fire damage. However, we have a -1 priority because we want this to be checked last. Because maybe there's other more specific contexts that are fire damage by this definition, but we don't want to count as fire damage, like burning in daylight. Burning in daylight, I would like for it to count as radiant damage. So I define the context. I have a little tracker thing that tracks to see if they're exposed to the sky and stuff. But this is a higher priority, so this will be checked first. So if they're burning from being on fire, which is fire damage, but they're exposed to the sky, it counts as radiant damage. The minute they get shelter, it then starts to count as fire damage. Because this has a lower priority, so this is checked last. And that's kind of how you would use that priority system. That's just an interesting thing I wanted to showcase about some of the cool stuff you can do with DDD. And ZenScript, that's stored. And now I need to actually save and quit and reload because I need to check to make sure it works again. But now it should work. Now it should work. Right? Because I fixed all of that. I missed a single exclamation mark. Everything changes. It is a little tricky. DDD has like DDD is very specific about or sorry, there's lots of like capabilities and stuff being assigned with DDD, and sometimes you don't want to assign them because then it doesn't work in certain machine blocks because they check NBT data for some reason, and so it won't be compatible. Learned that the hard way. So it's very, very specific and particular system to make sure it works. But this should now work. But I will have to give myself another diamond chestplate because the diamond chestplate I have. What machines check NBT data? Certain things from Mechanism check NBT data for like their recipes. Tinker's Construct Smeltery does for some reason. But not for all of them. For some of them. I think like some integrations have like melting recipes that check NBT data, and like the NBT data needs to not be there. If it is there, it won't melt in the smeltery, which is really weird. And I've gotten reports of things from Mechanism not working with DDD installed because DDD gave a distribution to coal, and now coal isn't being accepted in the machine, which is bizarre. But that has been since fixed because now DDD is very, very specific and has this really complex system for assigning distributions. Stop people from smelting low durability tools? Potentially? Um, although that still works. I'm pretty sure that still works in the smeltery. Smelting low durability tools. Actually, you know what? We can check it. Here's an iron sword with some durability lost. Oh, it can't be molten. Oh, and that can't be molten either. Can't this actually be molten? Yeah, see, it can. Notice that it's actually meltable. But the reason it's not allowed, I'm pretty sure has nothing to do with, I did not want this one. I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with the durability. If I put this in, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Because this actually has a distribution, yeah. Weird. Very weird. So I guess it is to stop them from smelting low durability tools. So I want to take this. Oops. Put this on. I don't need that. So now this should fundamentally actually give me 8 armor. Game, please. Game, please. Whoops, no, don't put that over there. Put that over here. My game crashed. Beautiful. Alright. Why did it crash? Distribute armor. Okay, but we're in the default armor distribution behavior. Why did we crash on that? Class cast exception. It cannot be cast? What do you mean? I guess you can't cast it because it's not actually that type. Ah, that makes sense. Because it's not actually that object. It's not actually that type, even though it's kind of the same type. What if I oh, hold on. New armor map, duh. Put all. Yep, put all. Copies all mappings. It's defined through the same thing, whatever. Put all. Who would like this? What is going on? Cannot cast from void to DDD maps armor map. Oh wait, I can't do that. But now I need to return that. I see. I see, I see. Then I'm just gonna add a collector for this, because why wouldn't I? Types to DDD. Types to armor map. Supplier default vault, and then do that. Actions to map. Collectors. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm gonna define the same thing. Static collector, but it's gonna have to go to the damage type, wild card, and armor map. What? Why are you complaining? Oh, because it's yeah, I see. So this needs a supplier for the default value. Because this is not, yeah, so it needs to be that, and then it needs to be a function that maps a damage type to that. Function that maps a DDD damage type to armor values. And you called it a value mapper. That's what it is. It is a value mapper. Okay, return collectors dot to map functions dot identity, and the value mapper is going to be a binary operator. Oh no, sorry. I put the value mapper and then I put that. Or binary operator. That's gonna be a view. Yeah, okay. I have to spell it out. Do I need to cast it? Oh, I do need to cast it. Or maybe I don't. But I'm gonna cast it. I'm gonna have a copy this. Put that there. Okay, yeah, change it to package, whatever. I'm gonna do the same thing for the rest of these in case I want it. What? Oh, I don't need that. Because that's defined there. True. Okay. Agree with that. Agree with that. I have to go here. And instead, what I do, they say forget this noise. DDD maps dot types to, or DDD maps dot armor map dot types to whatever types to armor map. I don't need this. I just need that. Easy. Now the game probably doesn't crash. That's a plus. Now for the default shield distribution, does it do the same thing? I would like to look at the call hierarchy for this. I want to see where this is called. How are you even called here? Oh, because it takes just a map. Gotcha. Accept. Copy map. How does this accept? Why does this work? Oh, because I have to set it to that. Understood. Alright, that's for a whole bunch of other stuff. So we're good. Alright. Okay, so let's check that, and that should work. And then it should be good. Hopefully this should work. So what happened there, where the game just imploded, this is typical modding experience. It's like, I got this really cool thing. I'm gonna go check it out. And the next thing you know, you have torn the Minecraft universe asunder with your code, and it just doesn't work. That's what I did there. I tore the universe asunder, and the game crashed. That's fun. This is also a great splash text. Because that was exactly the problem that I spent, like, I don't know, I guess 15 minutes debugging. I missed an exclamation mark. Minecraft knows. Okay, so what happened right there? I didn't even get the opportunity to even, like, prepare myself mentally to check because I was already right next to the zombie. But, so I got a +8 armor and +2 armor modification from armor effectiveness. Because it has 100% effectiveness against all types, I sort of just doubled its effectiveness, didn't I? Yeah. This made armor doubly effective. Because now the game's treating it as if I have 16 armor and 4 armor toughness. Aw, that's annoying. Because the zombie inflicted 2 types, necrotic and bludgeoning, and it put it towards both. I mean, I feel like this is the best we can do, though. For things that inflict 1 type. Like, you. I changed my mind, I guess, not you. Because it didn't count. That's because I was on fire. So... being on fire isn't blocked by this. And a lot of this is gonna bypass armor anyway. But standing in fire should still... no? Really? Really, bro? Really, dude? That all bypasses armor. Okay, fascinating. Does this bypass armor? Yep, it kind of does. Yep, that kind of does. But this is just lava. Okay, so that also doesn't work. I need sustenance. Okay, that's interesting. You, though, you inflict regular damage. Hit me with this, boy. Hello. Oh, wait, it's... if it counts as 0, it doesn't actually... I see. Later, dude. I need to wait in... dude. Dang it. Whatever. Oh, wait, I'm not gonna die. Dude, get me out of here. Okay, maybe that was a little overkill. Perchance. Why do I have this really fancy thing, but, like, no way to get in? Why did I do this? So this should... Now that would be blocked by a cactus. For 497. 494. So it is blocked. I guess it's like, if there's no actual modification, then, it's not actually gonna do it. That makes sense. Okay, so that means that... these are being blocked by armor normally. So if I'm 494. Yeah, and this is okay. So it works for single types. For multi-type attacks, poor fella, he's just gone. For multi-type attacks, the solution doesn't work. Do I just accept that as is and just go, well, this is kind of the best I can do, or... or do I... Huh. That's interesting, because we could arguably do a little bit better. I have to really think about this. Do I add one more option? Set it to vanilla? And a keystone stream filter. Or values submerge. No, because on that... if present, avels... Okay, what I need to do is, I could actually full restore vanilla damage. Or vanilla behavior for undefined armor. I can do that. Wherever I have this... It's in the capability implementation. Right here, okay. I can do this. Because what I can do is I can go here. I can set this to vanilla. And then I need to add the unimplemented methods. And types dot get all. You just set that copy of. Right. Yes, continue. That's fine. Okay, so now that I got that, then since this functionally behaves exactly the same as this one, all I do all I do is I check this part if it's present. Oh, maybe in the armor classifier is where I should do that, because I'm classifying the armors here. But then here it's going to I need to not change that. I need to change this. But perhaps not there. Or maybe it's not possible. I distribute the armor. It would need to know that there are two damage types and to only do it like that. Yeah, no, I don't think that's really easily possible. Not without a complete overhaul. So, you know what? We're just gonna boop and leave it like that. Need to find the resistance category, which I think I closed. I want to say this. Iron Priest will use their full armor strength against all damage types. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Anything but no effect is what makes undefined armor pieces very strong, as their armor values are basically multiplied by the number of damage types being inflicted that they are effective against. Okay, that makes sense. That's not a problem for shields because that basically just reverts them to vanilla settings. Okay, yep, that's sufficient. And with that, I'm going to call the stream here because that's pretty much exactly where I wanted to be with all of this. Um, More or less what I wanted to do. I can close this game. We don't need this ominous fire in the background. So, I might not release this today, but technically everything seems to be working. I want to see if there's any other features I want to add, whether this is just going to be a little tiny thing or whether I want to make this into a bit of a larger update. And if it's going to be a larger update, I'm going to keep working on other things. Um, but for now, that's that pretty much handled. So that's good. And tomorrow I will be back same time with Continuum. And yeah. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I appreciate it. And as always, if you like what you see, if it's enjoyable, all that stuff, be sure to drop a follow. Uh, Dropping a follow helps out this channel, allows me to do this for longer times, more reliably, all that other stuff. So always appreciated. Yeah, so that's all I'm gonna be doing. So hope you all have a good day. If you're within on the West Coast and you check out the eclipse that's going on today, definitely enjoy that. I I saw my eclipse today because I was programming in it. That's a dumb joke. Yeah. So that'll be it. All right. So take care, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow.